Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to make our bodice block. So if you are interested in making this, kindly keep watching and hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed. Let's get started. So these are the materials that we are going to be using for our tutorial. Now starting off, we are going to rule a line on the top. That is where our measurements are going to be starting from. Now first we go ahead to measure our shoulder to our bust line, and then our shoulder to our under bust, and also our shoulder to our waist. And then we go ahead to rule our lines across it, and then we label them. From there we go ahead to take the length of our dress. Mine was 23, and then we rule a line across it as well. So on our shoulder, I measured half of my shoulder and then divided it into two as well. And then for my neck depth, I went in by 2.5 for my neck depth. And then I used my curve to draw out the line. So from my shoulders, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder sloping, and then I drew the line from the neck down to the 1 inch that we made. Now for my chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 6, and then I'll add 1.5 inch to it. When I did that, I got 8 inches. So I'm going to mark and then rule my line across it. So I'm going to draw a vertical line from my shoulder to meet my chest line. From there, I'll divide my armhole measurement by 2, and then I'm going to mark and then come in by 1/2 inch and go ahead and take my bust measurement on my chest line. So from there, we use our curve to join the 3 points that we have. So from the shoulder, we join the shoulder to the 1/2 inch, and then join the 1/2 inch to our bust measurement that we took on our chest line to get our armhole. So from there, we are going to be taking our that measurement. So we divide our nipple to nipple by 2, and then mark it on the bust line, on the under bust, and then on our hip line. When we are done, we are going to be drawing a line to connect the point. Now please note that our dart intake is going to be taken from the waistline. Always take your darts from the waistline. So for our darts, we are going to be going in and out by 0.7. So 0.7 on the left, 0.7 inch on the right. And then we are going to be doing this on our waistline. So after we are done, we are going to be going in from our length 2 inches upwards. And then we are going to connect this line to the 0.7 marks that we made on the waistline, and then we are going to connect them to our bust line. Please note that the dart for the front is going to be ending on our bust line. We are going to divide our bust by 4, and then we are going to input it on our chest line, which we have already done, and we'll do the same for the waist. Now on the waist, the dart intake that we took, we are going to measure, and then we are going to add it to the waist measurement again. And then we are going to divide our hip measurement by 4, and then we are going to mark. When we are done, we are going to join with our curves to mark out our body shape. After we are done drawing out our curves, we are going to be adding a side dart. Now for the side dart, we are going to subtract our shoulder to waist back from our shoulder to waist front. When I did that, mine was 2 inches, and then we are going to join it to the bust point. So I went ahead to add allowance to my pattern. I tend to forget when I'm cutting on my fabric, so I try as much as possible to add it on my pattern when I'm making the pattern, so that I just put it on and cut. So I added 1.5 allowance, 1.5 inch allowance to my bust, to my waist, and then to my hem or hip line. Moving on, we just have to cut our front pattern out now, and then go ahead and work on our back. So when you're done cutting it out, you are supposed to label it so that we know the difference between the front and then the back. So we go ahead to measure our shoulder to our bust line, which is still 11, and then our shoulder to our waist. Now the shoulder to the waist measurement for the back is different from the shoulder to the waist measurement for the front. Now when we finish marking them, we will go ahead to rule a line across the points, and then we label them. Now for the length, we don't just measure the length. We are going to take the front pattern, and then we are going to measure from the waist to the hemline. The measurement that we get, we are going to transfer it to our back part. Notice that after you are done doing this, the measurement for the back becomes shorter than that of the front, and then it's fine. By the time you work with it, you sew your shoulder and everything, the length becomes okay. Now for the shoulder measurement, we did the same thing that we did for the front. We went in by half of our shoulder, divided it by 2, and then we marked. Now for the neck depth for the back, we are going to go in by 1 inch, and then we draw the line, or we draw the curve out with our curve. So from there, we are going to go down by 1 inch like we did for the front, and then we are going to slope it into our neckline. From there, we are going to take our chest measurement, and then we are going to rule a line across it, and then join it to our shoulder. So now we are going to divide our armhole by 2, and then mark, and then go in by ½ inch like we did for the front. Mark our bust measurement divided by 4 on our chest line, and then join with our curves. So you are going to label our chest line after we are done, and then we are going to go ahead to input our dart measurement. Now for our dart, just like we did for the front, we are going to divide our nipple to nipple by 2, and then we are going to mark it on our chest line, and then our waistline, and then on the hemline or on the hip. Now for the dart for the back, the dart is going to start from our chest line, moving on to our waistline, and then on to our hemline. And just like we did for the front, we are going to go in by 0.7 on both sides on the waist. So 0.7 inch out, 0.7 inch in, and then we go up by 2 inches like we did for the front, and then we are going to connect our point from the 2 inches to the 0.7 point, and then we are going to connect it to our chest line. So when we finish, we are going to go ahead and input our body measurement. So our bust divided by 4, we mark it on our chest line. Our waist divided by 4, and then we are going to mark. So for the waist measurement, please don't forget to take the dart measurement that we took on the waist, and then you add it to the waist measurement. So when you're done, you can go ahead to add your allowances if you want to add it on your pattern. I choose to add mine on my pattern so that I don't forget whenever I'm cutting it out on my fabric. And when you're done, you join with your curves. If you don't have a pattern master, you can use the curves like I'm doing. So you can go ahead to label the back as well. And please don't forget to add your zip allowance when you're cutting it on the fabric. That is if you are going to be adding a zip to your clothes that you'll be making. So I went ahead to add a note so that I don't forget when I'm cutting on my fabric. You can also do the same if you want. And then I went ahead to cut. So you realize that after you're done with everything, the front becomes slightly longer than the back. Now this is because there's a side that's on the front. After you're done taking the side that out, joining our shoulder and everything, the length becomes the same, like that of the back. So the front and the back are going to be eventually the same length after we finish taking our side that out and joining the pieces. So don't be worried when you see that the back is shorter than the front. It is eventually going to be the same length after everything is done. Now this brings us to the end of our tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. And please hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed to get notified anytime we post a new video. Also like and leave your comments in the comment section. See you in my next tutorial.